I wanted to talk to you guys about sacrifices today when it comes to building a physique. And this is strictly lifestyle. I'm not even going to get into the sacrifices required to be a competitive bodybuilder. But I just wanted to tell you guys some of my experiences with building my physique. It's been a long road, to be honest. I wouldn't say I'm some genetic specimen when it comes to this. I'd say I'm pretty far from it. So I've had to work really hard for everything I have. I'm not one of those guys who can fucking look at some chicken breast and a weight and put on muscle, or take 500 tests and blow up to damn near pro level size. That ain't me. It's probably not you either. If it is you, good for you. I'm kind of jealous, but us guys with average genetics and kind of average builds, you got to work your ass off. There's things you can do to make it more efficient, more streamlined, but at the end of the day, nothing is going to replace hard work and willpower. You really can't. You can take all the Retta you want, but eventually you're going to get to a point where you can't up your Retta doses when your cravings get too high, and you're going to have to really figure out what's worth it to you. Is being hungry worth it to you? I know damn well it's worth it to me. But I just started coaching full time in June, I believe. So it's only been a couple months, and I've been building my physique for about 5 years now, seriously, and so obviously a lot of that I had a full time job, very demanding one at that. Wasn't too hard when I was living at my parents' house, bumming it, fucking didn't have to pay rent or any of that, and just worked at Ace Hardware and went to the gym. That was a little easier for sure. I wish I could go back to it. I miss not having responsibilities every now and then. But for most of the time I've been bodybuilding, I was a full-time corrections officer. For those of you who didn't know that, I talk about it every now and then. But that's not a. Oh, I'm not gonna go all thin blue line on you. Fuck no. That's kind of gay. But it was a demanding job. Hours were rough. I worked 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I had like an alternating schedule. So like one week I only worked 2 days. That was nice. And then the next week I worked 5 days. So 60 hours, which is fuck. But it's a very, very high stress job. It was literally just, it's not like the jails you see in the movies where I just get to chill up in a control tower and no, it was like I had a desk in the middle of a unit with just like prisoners walking around me all day. And honestly, we got along. I never really had many issues, but it was just a lot of background adrenaline, a lot of stress. It made bodybuilding harder. I'm sure that job held me back, simply just from the stress and under recovery from having a terrible sleep schedule when I worked there. But I wasn't gonna let that stop me. We had three breaks a day where I could heat up food, so I'd bring 3 meals I needed to heat up and 1 meal I could eat cold, whatever that would be. And then I'd have time for a meal after work and time for a meal before work. Still got my 6 meals in. Was it always easy? No. Dude, sometimes I'd heat up my meal and I wouldn't get to eat it till 2 hours later because I'd be mid fucking chicken and rice and two dudes would start beating the shit out of each other. I'd spend the next 2 hours dealing with that. And I'm not saying I had the hardest situation in the world. There's plenty of guys who fucking have crazier situations than me. There's dudes who work on oil rigs who are fucking twice my size. They're bodybuilders. But I did have to make some sacrifices. There was some nights where it'd just be like, hey, I'm getting 4 hours of sleep tonight because, I gotta work my whole shift, do cardio before, gym after, another cardio session, go home, fucking, and then make my meals for the next day, and I had a bunch of shit to do that I couldn't skip. So everything comes at a price. You can eventually you got to pay the piper, whether that's now or later. I could gone to bed early and then not had my meals ready. Pay the piper tomorrow. But this shit does come with sacrifices. Any coach who tells you it's going to be easy, even at a lifestyle level, is lying to your fucking face. If it's easy, you're not doing it right. It can be efficient. It can be streamlined. I don't spend my whole life in the gym. You know, I'm in there 4 or 5 days a week. You know, hour, maybe an hour and a half, going hard as fuck. You know, you can make it streamlined, but it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be normal. If it was normal and easy, everyone would be in shape. Look around you. If I go into a room of 100 people, chances are I'll be the only fucking jacked guy in there, statistically. But there's gonna be sacrifices involved. You know, I probably sacrificed some years off my life. You know, steroids aren't safe, no matter what anyone tells you. There's less harmful ways to do it. There's harm reduction, harm management, which I practice very heavily. But it's never safe. So, you know, I might lose some years off my life, but that's worth it to me. You know, money. This ain't a poor man's game. You know, I probably spend $200 on food a week, and that's just for me. You know, I spend a good amount on gear, a lot of money on health supplements. Between business coaching for running my business, because why the fuck would you do anything you don't know how to do without a mentor? That's just wasting time. Same goes for bodybuilding. You know, I probably spent, if I had to make a rough estimate, like 25 grand on coaching in general in the past 4 years, maybe more. I don't know. I don't keep track of it, because who cares if I see the money and can't afford it? I got a fucking dream. I got a goal, and nothing's getting between me and that. And hey, that's not everyone, and that's why building a crazy physique isn't for everyone, because not everyone's crazy enough to drop everything and, you know, not know if they're gonna be able to fucking go out to eat for the next 3 months because it's too expensive and they gotta spend it on fucking gear and subs and fucking food. But as I said, sacrifices. I've sacrificed a lot of my time, sacrificed a lot of moments that I could have had. You know, I didn't get to celebrate my birthday last year because I was a week out from my show. So I honestly, I didn't even really remember it was my birthday. But hey, who gives a fuck about your birthday when you look sick and you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? Personally, I don't give a fuck about my birthday. I'd rather look sick. But yeah, it's the name of the game. You can come up with every objection in the world on why, you know, you can't do it. And hey, maybe you can't. Maybe you're not built for it. And that's why I don't fucking offer my coaching to everyone. So many people aren't built for it. I don't want to work with someone who I know off the rip is never going to follow their meal plan and come up with fucking excuses all the time. Why the fuck would I sacrifice my time for that? Fuck, even if I'm getting paid, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Or you can sit down and you can have the conversation with yourself. How bad do I want it? And if you want it that bad, there's no sacrifice too great. Straight up. You know, fuck, man. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's some personal stuff, but you can do pretty much anything you say fuck the excuses to. You know, hey, maybe you'll never be Mr. Olympia, but you can be the biggest fucking most shredded up, crazy version of yourself there is. It's up to you. I can't force you. No coach can force you. You know, I can't make my clients stay on a meal plan. I can't make them go to the gym. They do it because they want to. They do it because I gave them a goal and a direction and a way to achieve that goal. So that's why they do it. Simple as that. So you can either make up every fucking excuse in the world about you don't have time and you don't have the money and you don't have whatever the fuck. Reality, you don't have the mental strength. You don't have the mental strength to say, fuck it, this is my priority. And that's okay. That is okay. Just don't lie to yourself. And if you really want it that bad, then it's time to say fuck the excuses and send it. That's my wisdom for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Check out the links in the description. Got my sponsors down there. Got my full bodybuilding guide down there. It's an hour-long video, totally worth the time. Check it out.